everyone, and welcome back to another book review. Today I am going to be reviewing Daido Tokyo. This was a photography collection, and the book was actually published in conjunction with a showing or some sort of art presentation that Daido Moriyama had at this location in Paris. So the book is half in French and half in English, but is primarily showcasing photography by this Daido Moriyama. I was not familiar with his work in advance of getting this book, but it was very interesting to read. The colors called to me, the format kind of called for me. It has this cool two-colored edge. So I really was intrigued at this book on the library shelves. I've actually seen it my last couple visits, but I decided to take it off and read it this time, and I had a really enjoyable time reading it. So let's discuss this book, this Daido Tokyo. So the first part of the book is an explanation of what you're going to get. The first section is in French because this was put on by a Paris art gallery. The primary language in the book is going to be French, but there is a section in English as well. So I just skipped the first part in French, and you can just read the exact same thing in English, starting, well, I guess the page isn't numbered, but just move past the French stuff and you'll see the exact same thing located in English as well. The book then goes on to the photographs, which are divided into two sections. The first part is called Tokyo Color, and these are photographs taken between December 2008 and July 2015, and that's this part that has the white edges. And the second part is this dog and mesh tights, which is photographs taken between July 2014 and March 2015. And these are in black and white, while these are in color, hence Tokyo Color. The focus of the entire book is this Shinjuku district of Tokyo. So Tokyo is one massive city, but also has many of these like sub-districts and sub-areas. And Shinjuku, again, I'm not super familiar with Japan, I've never visited, but it is a location in it, and I get the sense that maybe it has some nightlife elements. It's a nightlife forward area. Maybe, I don't want to say seedy or shady, but there's definitely an edge to the neighborhood. At least that's how it is presented in the beginning section. And I did do a little reading on it as well online after I read this book, and it seems to be a center of like nightlife and a lot of commerce and economy in that region. So then I do think that the photographer was not trying to capture necessarily like a tour guide, picture by picture, here are the streets photography of the neighborhood. They weren't trying to capture every single thing in the neighborhood. They weren't trying to capture the kind of pictures that you'd see on like Wikipedia or a travel article or in a travel brochure, but instead the author was trying to capture, some of these pictures might not be appropriate for YouTube, so I have to proofread it. The photographer was trying to capture the sense of the neighborhood or the feeling of the neighborhood. And I think that he did actually quite a good job. You kind of get the sense or the feel of the neighborhood without actually capturing like, this is a street by street, or these are the major players. So I think in that regard, the photography was really well done, but don't expect like a travel guide level street view photo type photography collection. This is more of the sense, the feeling sense of the neighborhood that, this is not my favorite one, which is more of a street view, I guess. It's more of a sense or a feel of the neighborhood that the photographer was photographing. Now, the second half of the book, as mentioned, is black and white, which at first I was like, this is kind of odd, but I wound up kind of liking it. I feel like when we think about Tokyo and photography in Tokyo, there tends to be a focus on like the bright neon signs, the neon colors, the vibrancy, the energy, constant lights all throughout night, large number of people. Those are the things that come to mind. You can envision like pictures of Tokyo, like big, tall buildings, bright lights, neon signs, constant energy. And the black and white kind of takes that away, but you can still get a sense, it kind of strips away that neon bright coloring and leaves something else behind. So you're kind of more focusing on the actual subject versus getting lost in all the color, which is also fun in its own right as well. But that's the second half of the book, is all this black and white, which at first I was kind of put off by, but the more I flipped through it, the more I actually wound up liking the second half of the book, because I felt like it was taking away what most people expect when they reach for a photography collection that is set in Tokyo. So then you have to kind of get creative with what you're going to photograph and not just rely on the colors to kind of do the lifting for you. That being said, I've also had photography collections of Tokyo that lean in to the colors. It was Tokyo Nights, I think, was the one that I reviewed. It's on my channel, which was also super fun. So I don't think one is necessarily better than the other, but I think it is an interesting artistic creative exercise that the photographer engaged in this book. Overall, I thought this was fun. Again, just know going into it, this is kind of more a photography collection of the sense or the feel of the landscape in the neighborhood, not necessarily a faithful attempt to preserve the neighborhood in its state and time. So knowing that going in is probably helpful to know, but I did enjoy this book and I'm glad that I took it out of the library. The colors called to me and I did end up liking it, so I would consider this a success. If you have read this book, if you're familiar with this photographer, or you have anything else to add, please let me know in the comment section down below. I love to receive your comments. It is the highlight of my day. Thank you so much for watching and I hope you have a great rest of your day.